dance with this girl, and she'd be like, really like Max, but we're like 7, 8, 9 years old. And then her parents would be like, he's better, so let's move on over there. So I was that guy. And in the mid-90s, I'm in Brooklyn. Again, no English, no none of that. So we were being brought into dance by our parents just so that we don't lose our mind. Like me personally, I'm a teenager in this new country, and this is insane. Again, Lincoln High School is my neighborhood high, so it's like it was a lot. So I'm in this dance studio now. I have some familiarity. Little that my parents knew, I was passionate about chemistry. I wanted to be a pharmacist. And so for me, the path was not a dance path. But then immigrants, right? So you're trying to make some money. My first job was at 14 years old. I was dancing Russian restaurants in Brighton Beach. It was called Ukraine at that time, actually. It's so funny. Ukrainian, Eastern European restaurant, whatever you want to call it. And that was my first gig. And I was 14, maybe 15. My partner was also 15 years old. And we were both coming from, high school at night to go dance in the weekends. We were competing together. Then I broke up with her, moved on. And so the business of dance, the money, and that time I was getting $25 a show. So I would walk away with $75 a weekend. Again, it was cash. And so I was getting more than my parents were getting in food stamps. As a family, we're getting subsidized, all of that stuff. So the funny money and everything. So, people looking at us in big closets and they're like, these bougie assholes. I'm like, nothing about me. Anyway, so
Right.
the beauty here is that in the mid-90s, this is kind of like me getting to the point, there was the ballroom industry in the United States was infantile, to say the least, and so it was consistent of some pros. They were not very good. Let's just put it that way. Some amateur couples, they were very not good. And virtually non-existent ballroom world for the kids, and so here we are. And so we kind of all got together in Brooklyn. A lot of us immigrated at the same time. And by us, I mean the kids that started to build the foundation of ballroom dance in the United States. My brother and I would say we were 25% of all competing professionals at that time. By professionals, I mean the kids growing up, right? So in our categories. My brother then then I became his coach, made him into a 2-time world champion in 2 different age groups. Unheard of. And since then, hasn't been US Latin winner in these categories. So we've done a lot at the time when none of this was here. And so I gathered a bunch of Eastern European families, new immigrants. Then we started tapping into, I opened my first dance studio in New Jersey. We still lived in Brooklyn. So I wanted to be a part of this growing movement, and I didn't know yet. And then cut to 2006, when Dancing with the Stars comes to town, they go by the list. And at that time, we're booming. US is the biggest dance market on the planet. New York City is the hub in the center. Where used to be London. We used to go to London for all the coachings, all the best, biggest competitions, all the sort of like world conglomerate. Shifted over to New York City. We did that. I'm not saying me personally, but it's me personally with a bunch of us who were 90s immigrants, and so that's where I'm like, did I think I was going to be sitting here? Hell no. There was not a blueprint in front of us. There was no path in front of us. My path was competing ballroom dancing. Then I'll become a judge. I'll run my own dance competition. And then, hopefully something will come up. So this right here, this is all somebody's dream and imagination.
Well, on that note, were you excited when you auditioned and got Dancing with the Stars? Because you were season 2, season 1 wasn't out. I mean, you were working on, right?
There's that Max coming out. No, I never auditioned.
Oh,
Never.
really? You just got the call
I do have an audition tape, but I think this was a formality. They were like, we must get this
wow.
because he speaks the way he does, and this is exactly that sort of antagonistic character that we want and require. And I'm saying this now with all my love for the show, to the show. My obviously, looking back at my career and understanding where I kind of went wrong in, if there's such a thing. Having said that, a lot of my wrongs were probably the things that catapulted me further. So
Right.
it's so sad, not sad, sorry, what's the word? It's so unclear how to judge yourself, because I'm very much that person. I'm very cerebral about everything I do, and I overthink everything a lot. And not not at the moment when I open my mouth on live TV. That's when I don't overthink things. I just do. But I do think about stuff that I've done, and it's very difficult when you're part of television world, to point something and say that was a mistake, because some of your mistakes may be your biggest career boosts, right? You, unbeknownst, me talking back to Len was probably the best thing that happened to me on Dancing with the Stars. And I hate to say it that way, because it's also kind of cringe looking back at it. Like, my grandma's watching the show as her favorite pastime. Her entire building is calling her like, Sofa, did you see what Max said to the judge? Oh my God. And so then I get this call, and like babushka calling me like, yo, what are you doing? I got to answer back to the whole building. So, outside of that, how can I say that anything I've done was a negative? Some things that you may not like me as a viewer, but that's the whole point of the show, is you bring audience for the what, not just the cha-cha of it. I thought none of this mattered. I thought all that mattered was my dance. And that's not true. And so today I'm sitting looking back going, damn, you did amazing things. You did some nonsense, but I'm unable to differentiate, which of these actually was great for your career. And so my final thing in terms of the audition, I was just ranked first in the country at that time. They went by the list of ranks. We need that guy, strange last name, looks the way he does. Let's get him on tape. And then this infamous audition tape comes up with me, white beanie, long hair. I showed up in the middle of going from rehearsal to, my job back, because I already owned the dance studio. And so sort of detoured into this audition piece and said things that I said off the cuff. I wasn't even trying to get a job. I swear to God, I don't know how to say it. I did not like the show. I did not want to be a part of this. I thought, as a competitor, ask any of these Olympians before their Olympics, would they be a part of Dancing with the Stars? They'd say, hell no, because it's a distraction. This isn't what they want to do. They need to focus on their career. If you or anybody were part of anything athletic growing up, right, with eyes set on that championship, you like that sort of horse that has blinds on, and that's all you do. When Dancing with the Stars came to town,